Alrighty, we are back. It is episode 23 of the Unfunded Podcast. We are over the moon to have you all listening to us wherever you're listening. We're just happy you are.
You say that better and better every
I
week,
know.
Lockie.
You know, I feel like I have this, like, we're so tired from training, we're in this slump, and as soon as we press record, it's like,
alrighty.
I've got to say alrighty just to like really get myself in the mood to record. We love doing this though.
Yeah,
we really do. And today is really special because we have a training partner, a fellow countryman, a fellow triathlete, really cool athlete that we have the privilege to sit down with and interview today. Have a good chat about all things triathlon, how he got into the sport. You'll hear who it is if you continue listening.
Yeah, we'll leave it as a bit of a
We'll leave it as
cliffhanger.
a bit of a teaser for you. Keep listening on, you'll know who it is. I mean, actually, now that I say that, it's gonna say his name.
Yeah, in the title.
We've got Aaron Royle. We're interviewing Aaron Royle later. Anyway, as always, I'm professional triathlete Lachlan Jones, co-host of the Unfunded Podcast with my good friend
Lleyton Wall, also a professional triathlete and
we
co-host of the Unfunded Podcast.
We jump in and out, don't we?
Yeah.
Of calling ourselves professionals, calling ourselves
not.
but it depends on how we're feeling that week. Do I feel professional today?
No,
Yeah.
I really don't. But I said it because you usually get up me and go, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know. Oh, well, 50-50. Anyway, what's been going on last week since we recorded?
Oh,
Not a lot. Pretty boring.
No.
I have not much change.
It actually hasn't been that great. Got a bit of a niggle, actually.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry,
didn't mean to bring it up.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Anyway,
Do you want to move on from it, or?
Yeah, we'll move on. Bit of a niggle, bit of time out running. That's okay.
That's okay. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Other
than that, just the usual.
Did you do anything on the weekend? A couple beers?
Yeah, I did have a couple beers.
I know you had a couple beers.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to get it out of you.
Yeah, Kingy went away. Oh, well, is going away. He hasn't actually left yet.
Yeah, no, he's not.
One of
our good mates leaving in Mackay, so end of an era.
Yeah, end of an era. The big H King.
Sorry,
housemate.
I didn't quite make it.
Were you too me deep at your other event?
Nah, I wasn't even. I just, I was meeting family members of the new girlfriend, so priorities, and I chose the safe option. Didn't want to be sleeping on the couch that night, so I made sure I stayed, and I was a good boy. I had to.
Disappointed.
Sorry. Sometimes you just got to do those things.
Disappointed.
So it's meeting the family. You know, it was crazy.
No, you actually had a big event.
I actually had a really big event. So it was my sister's baby shower.
Yeah. That's big. That's a big life event.
My little sister, I can't look at her with the baby bump. Sounds awful, and people think I'm a terrible person for this, but seeing her with
as your younger sister,
my little 22-year-old sister with a belly and a baby in it, gives me the shivers a little bit. Yeah, I literally, there was like times she's walking in the kitchen and say like, "You're her," I'm looking over here because I couldn't look at her. Like, it was just the shape. It was weird. It was kind of give me the ick a little bit. It was just I don't know. It's
yeah, but it's your little sister, so that's probably why it's weird.
Yeah,
she's more grown up than you.
100%. I mean, like I said, she's looking at prams, she's looking at strollers, she's looking at baby car seats, and I'm booking flights to Bali and racing in Lycra.
Yeah, like you're looking at the newest, Garmin that's come out.
Yeah. So one of us needs to grow up, and it's definitely not her. But no, very busy.
What was it? A boy or
it's
a girl?
Boy.
Boy.
It's a boy.
Little boy.
God, I'm gonna be the best uncle. Be a little funkle. I'm gonna be the funkle. As soon as it starts crying or shitting, I'm giving it straight back. Like, that's the best part of being an uncle. You can just like have so much fun with it, and then as soon as it's a little pest, just
back,
here you go.
palm it off.
I don't want it anymore.
This isn't my responsibility.
Not my thing. This is not my thing.
I didn't create this.
Anyway, like we said last episode, just a big weekend of racing.
Oh, it was. It lived up to the hype.
It did. It was so. There was. I'd like to think there was a little bit that we can, as being athletes, we can sort of peek behind the curtain a little bit and sort of. There was a bit going on. I feel not rivalries, but there was a little bit of
tension. There was tension in the air.
There was tension in the air, and I fucking loved it.
You had all the alphas coming back on one weekend. You had the long course alphas and the short course alphas. I like
to think we also did a very good job of picking what was going to happen. I think we're starting to. I mean, you're a little rusty in some areas.
Yeah,
but I think there's some things that were fine tuned onto now. We did very well picking what Hayden was going to do.
Yep.
win the first day, and then not do shit the next day, but do average.
Yeah, average.
11th in a World Series. 11th in a World Series is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
But still, for
his caliber of athlete and what he wanted to go in there, he wanted to go in there and dominate both.
Yeah,
he's not going there to come 11th.
No.
He wouldn't do it.
He wants to win both. If he didn't think
he was going to win, he wouldn't go.
If he wins both, I'm either sus on him, because I think that's near impossible.
Yeah.
You'd like to think.
He could do it the other way.
I think he could potentially do it the other way. I still think you're making a bit of a mockery of the triathlon world if you're going and winning.
Yeah, you are. You're a different animal then.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we kind of guessed, and we were pretty on the money there. We'll give a little breakdown of the men's rate. We'll start off with the men's. Matty Hauser makes it three wins. Makes it 3 wins overall. Yep. So he's got the perfect score at the moment.
Leading into Wollongong, but it isn't all wrapped up.
It's not all wrapped up. Later. Not all wrapped up. Matty Hauser first, Vasco Valaza second, Miguel Hidalgo third.
And it shows that those boys are the top 3. We kind of thought, maybe it's a bit of a weak World Series this year. It hasn't shown that. It
even
shows
with
that
Alex,
these guys maybe are the new 3 that are coming through.
Yeah, and you got like, you know, I mean, obviously I picked Miguel Hidalgo to come second, picked third. Like to think I was pretty good there. Yep. But Vasco Valaza him and Hauser have had some sprint finishes. Yeah. Now, Yokohama, you know, he was there in Yoko. He got second in Hamburg?
Maybe.
We should know this.
I think he did.
I think he might have got second in Hamburg. So, like, yes, Hauser's got the better of him. It's like an Alex and Hayden situation. Yeah. We could almost have an Alex and Hayden situation here with Vasco and Hauser. Yeah. So, it's pretty cool. And like you said, definitely not wrapped up.
No.
There's ways in the points, and we were talking about it in the pool today, where Miguel Hidalgo could
go and win these other 2 races.
Yeah. Same with Hayden. Vasco.
Yeah, it's all to play for, really, still. I mean, we thought, maybe if Hauser won this one, it could be, but it's not.
No.
He's got to knock the other boys out in Calavari realistically to kind of simmer down the bubbles from beneath. Yeah. You know, with those Vasco and Miguel.
And we'll talk about Calavari in a couple of weeks when it comes up, but like we said, definitely not over yet. It was another 10-person breakaway, which is so cool. Like I think we thought
pretty much back.
Yeah, with a flat course like it was beach start as well, beach swim. Usually they tend to come together a bit more, so
a bit more of a run in and out.
Yeah. When you got now you had the front pack, and you got a Matty Hauser, you got a Henry Graff, you got a Charles Piquet, you got Miguel Hidalgo, Vasco Valaza. Like those guys are
driving it now.
They are, and it's really cool to see because it's almost going back to that golden era of triathlon, like we spoke, you know, later on in this episode with Aaron. That 2012 to 2016 period where
the Brownlees and
there was no easy swim, there was no easy ride, and there was definitely no easy run. It's just red hot from the start. So that's super exciting. Hauser said in an interview he thought he might have messed up that little late sprint finish.
He went with a K out.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
all of a sudden Vasco was hot on his heels.
Yeah.
So that would have been a bit disastrous.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I feel as if he knows himself well enough to judge. And as you said, he goes, I got into the blue carpet.
You kind of know.
It's pretty much game over.
Yeah. If there's one person that you don't really want I know I've said this probably for the last, 5 or 6 years now. Yeah. If there's one person you don't want to be within a K running next to, it's Matty Hauser.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as soon as a Hauser sniffs the finish line and he starts to smell it.
Yeah. He's confident at the moment. He's really...
How can you not?
Well, exactly
your
right.
Worst result you've raced every race this year in the World Series, and your worst result second.
Second, yeah. So you're bound to be confident.
Yeah.
But he's really kind of preaching it at the moment, which is cool to see. Different kind of side.
And I think that's sort of what we saw a little bit on the weekend. We don't want to make too many accusations because we don't know for sure. But there was a lot of fingers to mouths, shushing
people.
There was some shushing cameras, and you don't just shush the cameras if you're not shushing someone.
No reason.
So, there was even comments in his posts, you know.
I haven't seen the Instagram.
I did. Yeah. I love spying. Yeah. But, there was a lot of shushing emojis, and there was a lot of what are they going to say now?
Yeah.
Comments.
Well,
so, I mean,
the doubters. The doubters have been shushed.
I don't even know if it was doubters because I don't think anybody doubts his ability.
No.
I think. And again, this is me just throwing out throwing out
theories
comments,
into the
throwing
atmosphere.
out theories, whether or not these are true or not. That's what I'm here. I'm here to throw out allegations and just hope that they stick and not get sued. There was a lot of talk on Hayden and Alex being back.
Yeah, it was pretty much the Hayden and Alex show for French Riviera.
And to their credit, they're the gold and silver medalists at the previous Olympic Games.
Yeah, which was
last year.
A year ago, yeah.
They're the gold and silver at the World Series last year. You know, so in their right, they are, they're
the big names.
They're the big names.
The draw cards, yeah.
You know what? You got to give Hauser the respect. Doesn't matter that they weren't on the start list. It doesn't matter when you're racing at the World Series level. You're racing at the World Series level.
Yep.
Who cares if, there's going to be people saying it's a year after the Olympics. It might be whoever's saying it's an easier year, shut the fuck up. Don't ever discredit an athlete for winning and being dominant on the World Series, like he is.
Yep.
Because look at his rap sheet. Second, I'm going off the top of my head, second, first, first.
Yeah.
He's carving it up. And then Alex and Hayden came back.
Nowhere really to be seen.
9th and 11th.
They were seen there, but
9th and 11th.
They weren't at that pointy end.
No.
Those other three were.
Yeah.
They were like a different kind of, I guess, league.
Yeah. Dude's number one in the world right now, so, give the man some respect.
Yep.
He's not here to fuck around.
No.
He's going for a world championship and he's given himself every possibility to win it.
Yeah. So, the women's. That was also great. The French ladies, they put on a show. They know how to race in their own country, don't they?
Oh, the women do it. The French women do it so well. I mean, even the men. The men were 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
In Dorian Koenigs and Tom Richard.
They know how to show up in their own, in their nation.
The French
got like this extra little pizzazz about them, especially these women like.
I mean, it was Jean Leher. She was French back in the day as well, so bit of a home race for her as well.
Yeah,
you'd say.
Yeah, she just moved to Luxembourg, didn't she? Yeah. So Cassandra Beaugrand first, Jean Leher second, half French, and then Leonie Perriot third. So the French women first, third, and fourth. You could maybe argue second as well.
Yeah. So half second.
Yeah.
Half second.
That is pretty impressive in a World Series.
Yeah. Not a lot of countries can do that.
No.
Maybe the Spanish in the men's side back in the day. You'd think maybe the Americans.
You had that one
British.
Norwegian podium, and then you had that Australian Emma podium in the women.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's tough to do, but
the French, crazy, especially at home. I think that's so impressive. They know how to show up at home.
We saw it in Paris last year as well.
And Cassandra said, she goes, I wasn't going to really race French Riviera or race most of the World Series this year. But she goes, I've got to race the French one at home, and that's my big one they'll want to win. Yeah. So she's gone and done that as well.
She stuck to her guns. She said it and she went and done it. And now she's top of the World Series.
Yep, top of the World Series. Another breakaway that got away.
I know. I think there was about 12 of them.
Yeah.
I think 12. It was a little bit of a bigger pack than the men, but still, you're not seeing the 30-person packs.
And that's been anymore. With the women all year.
Yeah.
Where was it? In Italy?
Yep.
That got away as well.
Yep. You got I like to think Emma Jeffcoat was in that breakaway, but I don't know if she was. I only watched the highlights.
Yeah, I didn't.
I know, but when you got like a Liv Matthias there, when Cassandra is leading out of the, it's so tough when these girls all were like the first out of the water as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's so,
and they all ran rapid.
How do you stop that?
Yeah,
like it's insane.
T100 was also good, I guess. But I saw with the T100, and I thought, and we went back to it last week. What would be the better one that you would go to?
Yeah, the
World Series did look better. I watched the T100. I watched Hayden come into the finish chute, but it didn't look as if it was as packed as what the World Series was. It looked a bit of a non-event.
Maybe most people had the same opinion as us.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna get sunburnt one day, and I'm only gonna choose the one day, and I'm gonna risk it on the Sunday.
Yeah, true.
If I'm gonna be out in the sun
all day,
I'll do it on the Sunday.
Yeah. Got Monday to recover.
Yeah.
Have a siesta.
Have a little siesta on the Monday. It was also in a bit of a weird spot. I saw them just running around some fields.
Yeah. That's what I meant. It felt as if it was out of town a bit. They kind of shooed the T100 away.
Which I'm like, just bring it back to the days where, I mean, I know it was the Olympics, but 2012 they're riding around Hyde Park. In London, cool. Central London. give us those days where Leeds you're in the, I don't know, the big, what is it, park that's in, I don't know what it's called, but Leeds Park, something. But it's in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
Like, bring back the races where we're in the heart of the city. I remember watching Lausanne in 2019 Worlds, and it was in the heart of the city. They're riding through the buildings on the cool, like next to the lake. Yeah. It's awesome. Like, bring that back. Stop just shooing us out to the side where there's no viewers, there's no walkabout traffic. Like, show off our sport.
Yeah, you want the cafes and the bars pumping full of people.
Yeah.
Second T100, Ash Gentle. Big weekend for Australia. Hauser win, Ash Gentle wins.
Yeah.
I think it's in a good place.
Yeah, Aussies are doing all right. Yeah. We definitely are on a comeback trail.
Yeah.
I believe you now. I was a bit hesitant at first, and I wanted to play devil's advocate, but I think even with those two doing what they're doing, they're going to spark a bit of inspiration. Yeah. We just saw the Aspen Anderson, Ash Gentle collab on Instagram.
Was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. They look alike.
Yeah.
God, don't they look alike? That's what I thought straight away. I thought, don't know which one's which. But, we're definitely...
Younger version,
obviously, Matty Hauser doing Matty Hauser things. Like, that's going to spark that interest in the
young
sport.
Generation to go, this is cool. And I've been seeing it a lot now on like our triathlon stuff on mainstream media in Australia. Yeah. So the ABC,
they did an article.
They're really kind of pumping it now, which is really cool. I mean, it does help that great results being produced.
Yep.
But it's kind of getting a bit more mainstream media, which is really cool.
Yeah. We'll head into our official beer athlete of the week.
Yep.
We're bringing it back. Our partners at Official Beer, obviously helping us keep the lights on, run the show here. They're our main sponsors of the pod. They're absolutely delicious. We knocked a few back again. Like we said, we had a few beers on the weekend, and
Official Beer, GT Lager.
Yeah, we had to get some fresh cans out because we took a few of these on time.
And our athlete of the week from the GC, we can't go past him, Hot Wheels Hauser.
Yeah, He's too good. We usually try to pick someone that's maybe a bit of an up and coming athlete, but when you've just gone,
you prove the doubters wrong. Yeah. I think close second, we've got to go Ash Gentle.
Yeah, I mean, she's
also come back this year, and she didn't have the greatest start to the year, but she's come back and she won that one pretty convincingly.
I mean, we might be a bit biased just picking Aussies here. We promise we aren't trying to, but when they're doing the results they're doing, it's kind of hard.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah, hate on us all you want, but Australia's on the up.
Yeah, we well and truly are. We've got 2 weeks until World Triathlon Series, the next one in Karlovy, so we'll do a bit of a preview in about 2 weeks' time. But let's not muck around. Let's get into our interview. Get Aaron in.
Big Aaron.
Aaron, get in here. Alrighty, we are back. We have our very first guest since Lleyton and I have made our return back in the studio. It's an athlete that both of us probably looked up to quite a bit as we were coming up through the sport. He's a fellow Australian, a 2-time Olympian in 2016 and 2021, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist. He's secured a podium on the World Triathlon Circuit in 2015. World champion back in 2012 in the under-23s. Welcome, Aaron Royle.
Welcome. Welcome to the best podcast in the squad.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Cut.
Yeah, well, I should say, also fellow podcaster, all in triathlon.
Yeah, no, this is a step up. This, what you guys have got going on here?
It's called a real podcast, Aaron.
Oh, God. Yella and I need to step up our game. You've got, for obviously people can't see what's going on here, but we're in a studio. They've got proper mics, headphones, 3 cameras pointing at us. Had a guy setting us up, but we really need to step up. You even got a run sheet. We started with run sheets, and then I think we got rid of them after a couple of episodes because you're just a natural. Well, the problem I had with run sheets is that when we had guests on, I was so strict on following the run sheet that I forgot to actually properly listen to what they're saying.
Yeah,
and then I would be so fixed on what I was going to ask next from the run sheet that often what the guests were saying, they might say something quite interesting, but you just don't follow on from it.
And you kind of cut it there.
Yeah. But
see, I think we did the first episode without a run sheet, and we thought, we need run sheets. Because we would have one topic, and that topic would take the whole episode.
Yeah. So we didn't know when to move on.
No, exactly. Well, mate, how you going? How's training, life, racing? You're on the Gold Coast at the moment, so made a move?
Yeah, we made a move. So I'm married to a British athlete that was also a very good athlete in her own right. And she's been lucky enough to get a job with Oz Triathlon. So she's over here now coaching with Oz Tri in the Ascent Academy on the Gold Coast. And obviously I'm Australian, so I'm very happy to be back. I grew up in Newcastle and then lived in Wollongong for many years. But to be back on the Gold Coast has been pretty cool. It's come with its challenges though, because obviously, as you boys know, triathlon's a very Northern Hemisphere based sport, especially in Europe, and that's where I was. And so everything was on your doorstep, and now you really have to plan things out a lot, which is back to what it was for me prior to 2016 when I was living over here, like you guys do now, and have to really sort of plan out your European season. But no, other than that, it's been really good. We started to settle in. You know, I've literally, this recording studio where we are now is probably, as the crow flies, 400 meters away from my house. So maybe I'll have to be a regular guest. I don't know.
Maybe. I'll have to collab more often. Unfortunately, you can't do the 2 weeks time. There's a race in the Netherlands that I'm going to just jump on over to. You actually got to do a bit more planning.
How long have you been in Europe for? How many years since you're back?
Since
you've come back left.
We left Europe in the end of April this year.
Yeah.
But left the UK, and we were back. We came here for about 4 weeks, but because of my job and also Non's job, and she had to and I had to get back over to Europe pretty soon. So we're here for about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're back to Europe for 6 weeks.
When did you first leave Australia?
Did
you say 2016?
2016. Non and I got together in about 2016, and then obviously we both went to Rio, and we wanted to stay with our respective training groups up until then, and then after that we decided let's try and make this work. And so probably I reckon it was the summer or the European winter of 2017 where I made the move and went over to Leeds, which was eye-opening and great, and I experienced fall seasons, like proper fall seasons, but also got really lucky and was able to train with some world-class, best ever athletes that we've had in the sport, in Alistair Brownlee and his younger brother Jonathan Brownlee, which was an awesome experience that I learned a lot from. I did miss being back here, and 9 years later, I'm back.
Yeah, wow.
It's a big stint in the UK. Was it just the UK, or did you go to Spain? Straight UK?
Well, we lived we lived in Leeds. Yeah, so that was we actually still have a house in Leeds that's rented out to some friends. So Non's not quite ready to give that up yet.
Yeah. She's still just in case.
She still wants her roots back in, which I understand. Something back in the UK, but. So obviously, as most Europeans do, or British people, you have other bases as well. Yeah. So throughout the summer, we would often go down to Font-Romeu, and in the winter times, we mixed it up between the Canary Islands, which is really nice in the winter times, and then Portugal and other areas as well, Girona.
Get a bit of warmth.
Yeah, nice.
Bit of tan on the skin.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, let's start from the start. Give us back the early days. You said you're from down south. You're from that Newcastle, was it? Or Newcastle area. So
proud Novocastrian.
The Knights are letting us down at the moment, but still love me Newcastle Knights.
I've got you down for a few years.
Yeah.
So what was you were a swimmer early on, weren't you? You started off as a swimmer and then kind of made your way into the sport of triathlon. How did that sort of happen?
Yeah, so I was a swimmer, like a lot of probably triathletes nowadays. I mean, it's slowly starting to change now, where kids are actually, their first sport is triathlon. But certainly when I was coming through, that wasn't what you first got into, really. It was like a byproduct of being either a good swimmer or a good runner, or less so cyclist, but normally one of the two. And I was a swimmer at the time, I started swimming at state level since I was 9, really. And as you boys will know, swim coaches in Australia they're hard.
Yeah.
They
copped a couple of kickboards to the head before.
Yeah. It's amazing how accurate they are with a kickboard.
Yeah.
They've got
always get you in the back.
There's 80 kids in there, and they're going to throw one a session.
Time to practice.
One a session, one every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But so I started as a swimmer, and then just through aerobic fitness, I realized, or I guess it just happened, I didn't I guess I didn't know at the time, but I just would make it through in the cross countries, like from zone to regional to state, and then I'd medal at state championships, and then go on to nationals, and had a couple of medals in that as well. And so I think that was more just purely from the swim fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was around about, I was maybe 12, so fairly young. My swim coach was a triathlete himself, and he said, "Oh, why don't you just give triathlon a go?" And up at Maitland Triathlon Club, just out of Newcastle, I went up there one Sunday morning and loved it. Like, I was a decent swimmer. I ran, I was like a pretty good swimmer, and I was a decent runner. And what 12-year-old doesn't like riding their bike?
Exactly.
So I had a blast, and it got me out of swimming like 9 times a week.
Yeah, there's nothing worse.
I feel as if that's like the general way of a triathlete in Australia. You start as a swimmer, go, nah, I don't want to swim this many times.
I want to swim less.
Black line.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about being a swimmer. Like, you give those swimmers so much credit. Like, gee, I couldn't
sit staring at that black line.
The mental fortitude to have to do that.
And that's why you often see swimmers that they either retire young, or nowadays you see them like after an Olympic campaign, they would take 3 months out of the water because they need it.
So defeated.
Yeah,
nice. Well, you said you trained with some pretty world-class guys in like the Brownlee brothers. You were in probably at the time one of the centre in the world, one of the most prestigious centres in the world. You moved to Wollongong, the Wollongong Wizards. How was that? Because I don't know about Lleyton, but for me growing up, it was
one of
a
the
dream.
Places.
It
was when I was still young. I was like, when I finished school, I want to go to either one of the two places. It was either Wollongong or the Gold Coast.
Yeah. I think everyone I remember seeing like some of the other junior boys, like obviously Lockie and Lleyton at the time. I was racing him a lot, and he was getting to go do some training camps at the Wizards, and I was like, fuck that guy. Like, I want to be there.
Do you reckon it was just more of a cool name? I mean, it had very good athletes.
I mean, you had like your Gwen Jorgensen, like an
was it a
Olympic
cool
champion.
name though? Really?
I mean, I think it was just the people in it. Like, there was all the different countries, and they were just in this big high performance squad, and the meet. It was just like looked awesome. So how was that, like, getting to go be a part of a program like that?
It was awesome. Like, I look back on it quite fondly. I think like there are people within that squad that I'm still friends with now, and that I would probably be lifelong friends. And it was like triathlon's a tough sport, as you know, and the people that you train with, like, you really need to get along with them, because you spend so much time with them, not only in the hours that we do training, but often Australians are on the road for 4 or 5 months of the year. So you really want to make that enjoyable. And I think we had a good balance where we trained hard, we worked hard, we tried to push each other, we tried to lift everyone up, the old saying of a rising tide lifts all boats. And I think we really lived by that. And I think it was a good time. We like I said, we had some good results, and not all of us, but a few of us have got a wizard hat tattoo on our ass.
I've heard about the wizard hat tattoo.
It's actually a funny story, I think. So we used to go up to Falls Creek every year, really, and so
summer, was it?
Every summer, and so we would have like the pre-season camp, which was December, and it was like a little bit less serious. Like, you'd just come off a break, and we were early 20s, and a lot of us, and myself included, like to have a drink in the off season. And so December was kind of like weaning yourself off that a little bit. So we'd still go out, and we actually called it so our coach Jamie, he was at the time Canada's coach as well, and so in December he had to be away. So we were there on our own.
When the cat's away, I shall play.
pretty much how it was. And we used to call it our AGM, but it was like a weekly AGM.
Yeah, okay. You had a lot of AGMs.
Anyway, so one night we had a few sherbets, and we were like, oh, let's get a wizard hat tattoo. And we thought it was the drink talk and everything. Everyone was like, yeah, that'll be great. Like, awesome, let's do it. And then we woke up the next day, and I remember I was thinking, like, it doesn't sound as good now that I'm not intoxicated. And then someone came out. And so Falls Creek, for those that don't know, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, or the biggest town is probably an hour and a half away, which is Albury, Wodonga. And anyway, someone woke up and, like, they came out and they're like, I just Googled where the closest tattoo parlor was, which is Albury, which is 2 hours away, or more or less 2 hours away.
Who was that? Do you remember who found that?
I'm pretty sure it was
Tamsin.
Tamsin.
Oh, yeah.
And but the funny thing like at that point, I was still kind of like a bit hesitant. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll see what happens. But then the name of the tattoo parlor was called Wizards of Ink.
Oh,
and we're like,
had to be done.
That's an omen. So we literally we got in the car. You had to drive down the mountain to swim anyway, which is like a quarter of the way to the Albury. And we're like, and it was a Saturday, and if you've got a tattoo, you've got to spend a bit of time out of the water, even if it was a really small one on our ass. So, we didn't have to spend that much out of the water, but it was a Saturday, and we weren't due to be back in the pool until Monday afternoon. So we're like, right, bang, let's get in the car and go. And well, not all of us, there was about 4 or 5 of us. But further onto that, so then the Canadian Matt Sharp, you guys remember the giant,
real tall
7-foot guy. He later joined our squad, and we used to joke and say, well, you're part of the squad now. You got to get your tattoo. And he's like, all right, I'll do it when I get my first World Cup podium. And he eventually got one about a year later, and he asked for the design, and it's only a wizard hat, but it's got like a little WW in there. And
okay.
So he wanted to have the same tattoo, and so I think Tamsin might have sent it to him. But obviously I don't know, but the scale was a little bit different, or the way that the tattoo artist interpreted it was different. So ours is like, I don't know, what's that, about 4 centimeters?
Yeah. Oh, no.
I wouldn't say 4 inches because that's a lot, but like his tattoo is probably like almost triple the size of ours. And like ours, you'll never know. I always forget I've got it. Like it's below my swimmer line. And it's basically right on my ass, where he's like his bit of a tramp stamp.
It comes up.
It comes up.
Oh,
yeah.
It's got the wizard hat poking out.
He's there laying on the bed and he's like, God, this has been a while.
Yeah.
I've been going at that ink for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but they were good days. Like I look back on them and I look back on it quite fondly.
Yeah. Nice. And I mean, like I say, that's probably one of the squads of its time. You then went on, I'm not sure when the dates of this one were, but you then went and joined probably the next biggest squad, the next go-to squad. Yeah. I mean, they didn't really have a fancy Wollongong Wizards name, but the Joel Filiol squad. Yeah.
So well, actually, in between that, so in Rio, I was with Jamie or the Wizards, and at Rio the squad. So they came first with Gwen, I think 5th with Barbara. I was 9th. Bailey was 10th. Maybe Tyler was 12th.
Yep.
So as a squad, that's a pretty successful games.
Yeah.
But then I went, like 6 months later, I went to Leeds.
Yep.
And they went first with Alistair, 2nd with Johnny, 3rd with Vicky Holland, 4th with my wife, Non.
Wow.
And Richard Varga was 11th, I think.
Yeah,
so
makes the Wizards look
pretty
poor, doesn't it?
I thought I was part of a good squad, and then I go to that one, and they're like, "What do you mean you got 9th? Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
was that then
get back training?"
Coached by Joel?
No, so at the time it was so Malcolm Brown and I've had a mind blank. He still coaches Beth Potter, or still has quite a bit to do with Beth Potter, but they were the ones that set up the Leeds Triathlon Centre.
Yep.
But it's a little bit different, like in that, I think you've had a bit of experience with it in Cardiff, but you have in Leeds, you have like 3 different squads within one. So you've got like the performance squad, then you've got the development squad, and then you've got like
I think it's the academy. They could usually call it like the academy squad, which is
or
like
Bucks.
It's
the British University.
And they feed into the next 2.
Pretty much. So some of them are just participation, right? Like some of them are swimming 2 minutes for 100.
Yeah.
So you have like very different levels, but they integrate a lot of it together, and it's no wonder that they're doing so well, because you turn up to a Wednesday swim and there's probably, honestly, could we get the whole pool on a Wednesday, so all squads are together, there could be 50 people.
Leeds, I've heard, and obviously I've heard this from the being in the Cardiff Centre, and I think Leeds have got the biggest number of, I don't know if it's applications to be in the centre, like everybody, and it's off the back of what the Brownlee brothers have been able to set up and the name that they have, but it's almost you got to go on a wait list to actually be in the Triathlon Centre in Leeds.
You can get a buck spot.
It's insane.
Pretty much.
Insane.
I mean, and it's probably similar in Loughborough now as well. Obviously, off the back of Alex as well. It kind of goes in swings and roundabouts. But Alex actually started. So when I first went to Leeds, I think the following year, or maybe even the same year, him and Sam Dickinson and others as well. But they came through at that same time. And Yeah, they're doing something right. They just have such a big talent pool, and over in the UK, they make it really, really easy to combine both your studies and your 100%. Sport. And I had to make, so I did primary teaching for a little while at university, but at the same time, when I was getting close to periods where I have to start doing in-class practical work,
placement.
I'm over in Europe, and so there was a point where I had to decide: do I want to do my practical work, or do I want to go and try and do this triathlon thing?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do that in the UK. You can combine both of them quite easy, and they facilitate that, and they have squads around that, and they put training on at times where it's
all the training centres are linked to a university, essentially.
Exactly.
So
you've got the facilities there. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
kids
most
can come study, get something out of triathlon after. And still be in a centre in a high performance environment with your sports like your pracky physios as well. They're learning. And it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think they put a real emphasis on the education side in the UK. Like, I mean, I never went to uni. Like, it wasn't. The training centres I was in, they weren't attached to a university like they are in Cardiff and Leeds and Loughborough and Bath.
I feel as if it's made hard in Australia. You look at, not many guys actually do uni and do triathlon, which is, I mean, not everyone's uni inclined, but it would help if people wanted to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it also doesn't help as well for Australians that
we're so far away from everything.
We are so far away, and obviously, like this season, so like I said before, the triathlon is very Northern Hemisphere based, and that's our winter, which is when university is on.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, university breaks in the UK or Northern Hemisphere, between, I don't know, months of June, July, August, which is the heavy part of the triathlon season. So they're free to go and do races at that point. And in Australia, if you want to leave, it's right in the middle of the university semester.
You've got exam block.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, we got some things against us, but I think in terms of Australia, that is. But that's a small part, I think, as to why the UK is doing quite well.
And we've also got a lot of things for us as well.
Exactly,
I mean, when you think of the 365 days of the year, there's not a lot of times where it's really that bad to go out and train.
Exactly.
Like, I've trained in some pretty gross conditions in Cardiff, and it wasn't even their winter block before.
But they find a way, though, don't they?
They do.
They do. Honestly, I was over there for about 9 years. I reckon weather stopped me from training. Like, I can count on less than one hand.
Yeah.
And there's days where there's snow, there's ice. Like, you just find a way.
They chuck the mud guards on.
Chuck the mud guards on. Get on the mountain bike.
Thick gloves and let's go, boys.
Yeah.
They're all going, though. They all go, fuck it, this bloody fucking shit for the whole ride, but they get done.
It then helps to have a squad like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when you've got people around you, and if they're like, you can't be the one guy not going out of the 20 that are. So
it's funny, actually. I know we're probably digressing a little bit here, but obviously part of our squad now, there's young Oscar Wooten, who's going really well. But I remember it was raining about a month ago.
Yeah.
And he sent Non a message, and he said something like, I'm going to go on the trainer, and Non just said something back like, it's 18 degrees and raining, get out there now. I don't, and Non's not she's not a hard ass or anything, but she was just no sympathy. She's like, just get on the road and get it done, pretty much. So.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think even yesterday, I mean, not to throw Oscar under the bus and just shit on him, but it was raining yesterday morning, and he had an hour ride, and he's like, he had to do it at the end of the day because he's like, I couldn't go out in the rain. It was raining. He was like, you only had an hour though.
Yeah.
Nah, it's funny. We'll try to bring it back to the results a little bit. Obviously, there was the 2012, and we spoke about this before. You almost forgot about it. Yeah, barefoot champion.
Barefoot champion.
2012.
Did you go Steiner school or something?
Under 23 world champion. Was that probably the first race where you thought, I could do something here? This could be the sort of start of a professional career.
I think so. Like, I had raced Junior Worlds in 2009. I got 18th, which I mean, it might be a bit of a theme actually, but I wasn't that happy at the time. But I to be honest, I didn't have no idea what to expect. I hadn't done any international racing other than in Australia or New Zealand. And then I did under 23 Worlds in 2011. Again, didn't have a great race, but things started to click. And I remember, I think it was the off season of 2011, roughly. I think it was that year, which kind of makes sense that then 2012 I went on to win under 23 worlds. But I was like, if you're going to do this, like start doing it properly. Don't just half-ass it. Actually, put some commitment into it and let's see what you can actually do. And I had a pretty good year that year. Like I raced a couple of World Series races. I think maybe Stockholm, I might have been like, it was like, I'm using inverted commas here, a weaker World Series race because it was just off the back of 2012 Olympics. But nonetheless, it was my first or one of my first ones. And I think I got like a top 10. And so that's where I started, or around about that 10th anyway. I can't remember the exact position, but it was around that 10th.
It's hard just to get that in general,
whether
exactly. It's a weak field or not. It's the World Series.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah.
Were you with the Wizards at this time?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So we're still like a part of. I don't even know. Well, actually, we became the Wizards after 2012.
Okay. Founding father.
Well, it was. We had like something like a PD before that called us like Jamie's Angels or something because the females did really well in 2011 and the men didn't. And then after Auckland 2012, where I won the World Championships, the same PD said, I can't call you Jamie's Angels. I have to come up with a new name, and he called us Wollongong Wizards. It was the Wizards at the time. I went into that race, like I knew I was really fit. It was actually, I look back at it now, and it was one of the, probably one of the preparations that I can probably be most proud of. Mm-hmm. Really left no stone unturned. I was doing like mega sessions. I still look back on it now. I'm like, wow, how did I even do all of those? I did an altitude tent and heat work as well. And like, to be honest, we had no idea what we were doing. Like back then there was no real protocols. Yep. We did have an Swiss physiologist, but she was kind of flying by the seat of her pants as well. Like she didn't
figuring it
really know, kind of figuring it out as you go. So in a way you would say that I got lucky in that,
you didn't get burnt out. Or
you figured it out well.
Figured it out well. I was going through like a packet of Tim Tams a day. Pretty much fueled
off calories.
Literally, it was like it was ridiculous actually. But
the uni diet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but yeah,
Stag bowl and Tim Tams.
Yeah, but and obviously I had a really really good race, and from that moment on, I think I started to believe that maybe I had a future in the sport. And funnily, actually, obviously at the time we didn't know each other, but my wife won the under 23 world title in the same year.
It's a calling.
It's an omen.
It is
another omen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So and that I guess that kind of kick-started things, and then probably off that I probably had, I'd say in short course, maybe my best years were probably the next 4 to 5 years
leading
after that.
Into Rio.
Yeah, leading into Rio. Yeah.
You want to take us through that one? So obviously, I'm guessing you were pretty well on the World Series now, racing a lot of that.
I feel like you were
coming into Rio.
You were how I sort of saw it as a junior. There wasn't a lot of Aussies that were really, you had your Ryan Bailey and your Ryan Fisher, and I think Dan Wilson was still getting around then as well. But I always sort of saw it as you were the top dog at the time. So like, especially if you're coming off a World Championship win, you're coming off as maybe Australia's next.
Yeah.
Hopeful.
No. Well, I would have in that period, say between 2012 and 2016, I think I got 3 or 4. I can't remember 3 or 4 World Series podiums.
Yeah.
In that period, and I don't think any other male Australian did. So I wouldn't necessarily say I was top dog, but I definitely was probably a bit more consistently positioned. Well,
if you look at
Bailey was doing well as well.
Bailey was
he
doing
was well. He was probably unlucky to miss out on, and he was, we'll maybe talk about it again in Rio. There's quite a good story on that, but he was probably a little bit unlucky. He probably got 4th or 5th and 6th in a couple of World Series as well. So he was knocking on the door, and we were obviously training together. So, and I know he was definitely capable of getting those podiums. But I think we definitely didn't have depth at the time. In Australia, but that period was obviously the Brownlees were around at the time, and my strengths were the swim, bike.
And I think that's peak triathlon. For me, in my eyes, that's peak triathlon.
For sure.
We still talk
12
about
to 16.
The goats of triathlon were in that era.
Mola,
your Gomez, the Brownlees, it was just strength everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And so for me now to look back and go, wow, I actually got a handful of World Series podiums is
you were amongst those boys.
And for me, it was we talk about them being the GOATs, but I always really liked it when they were on the start line. One, because the way they raced helped my strengths as well.
An ally.
But an ally. But I always like to compare myself against those guys. But leading into Rio, so things were going well, really well, and I podiumed in 2016 at the Leeds World Championships, which was, I think, the last World Series race, or maybe there was one more between, but I didn't do it. And it was about 6 weeks before Rio Olympics.
Rio.
Before Rio Olympics, so Leeds World Series. And I didn't actually know I was that fit, but I had like a really good race. Well, not obviously, but Alistair Brownlee won. Johnny Brownlee was second. I was third.
That's cool.
Javier Gomez was fourth.
Wow.
Mario Mola fifth.
Jesus, that's an unreal
I was
lineup of guys.
Wow, okay, things are going well here, much better than I expected. And
that's so cool.
But then probably made the mistake that a lot of people do and just overcooked it.
Yeah,
peaked a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I mean
that was your race. I mean, you still.
I was not
really well at the Olympics.
Yeah, but
ninth is nothing to sneeze at.
But it wasn't the race that I had in Leeds, and obviously everyone steps up another level, but I just didn't have that same. I don't know what the word is, but that same flow. It didn't come as easy as what it did in Leeds.
A little pep in your step.
Yeah, and I just think, not necessarily deliberately, but we went back into the altitude tent and we're doing a bit of heat and overcooked it a little bit, lost a bit too much weight, got onto the start line, just was too weak. And it was a hilly bike course, but it was a power hill. And so, I just was quite weak, and like I said, ninth, and at the time and for a long time after, I was actually really disappointed with ninth. And it wasn't until we had COVID, and during COVID it was like a long trainer session that I was doing. For whatever reason, I was on the trainer, and I was scrolling YouTube, and the Rio Olympics popped up, and I was like, I'll watch it. And this is like 4 or 5 years later. Yeah. So I watched most of it, but that was the first time I'd looked at it. I still haven't opened up results because I just don't know. Like I know who was around me, where I was, but I haven't actually opened up the results page on World Triathlon and actually looked at in depth of how it sort of played out, just because I don't really want to know. But then I said it actually on a podcast with Matty Hauser that it wasn't until I was stood on the sidelines in Paris watching them go around and watching like people like Hauser fighting for the top 10, and I think he finished 7th, and other people even like fighting for top 20. And I was buzzing, like absolutely buzzing watching it. It was an amazing show. And it was like a couple of days later, I was out riding and I was reflecting on it. I was like, the way you're feeling now, like absolutely in awe pretty much of those guys. Like that was you only 8 years ago.
Yeah. We were probably in awe of watching you race.
Yeah, maybe so. And it was like, but that was you 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, be proud of that. That was
I did that 8 years ago at the same event with the best athletes in the world there on the same day.
It's a race that stops the sporting world.
Yeah.
Like an Olympics, it doesn't matter what sport, like people watch it. I feel so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it transcends out of our little bubble, I guess, and comes onto mainstream. So, it was. But it was such a, like Rio was in general was like an amazing experience. Like obviously I went to Tokyo and under different circumstances, but like Rio shits on Tokyo. Like everyone would say that because and probably everyone that went to Paris and or Tokyo together at the same time would also say the same.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, I feel like circumstances aside, Tokyo would have put on a show. Like it would have been phenomenal. So it is a shame that we didn't get to see, but
a big Tokyo Olympics.
Well,
but at least you got that a proper Olympic experience is what people say at Rio.
We spoke to when we had Emma Jeffcoat on, and she went to Tokyo, and that was her first one and her only one at the moment. But she very much felt the effect of not having family, not having loved ones, not having a big crowd. Like she said, she crossed the line. I don't know if this is the same for you, but she crossed the line, and because the other two girls didn't finish, they were already in the car on the way back to the hotel. So there was no staff members around. There was nobody there. So it was very much, you'd finish this race on a high, you're looking around at the crowd and there's just no one there. Yeah. So I don't know if it was the same.
Yeah, what was your difference between Rio and Tokyo?
Well, there was a few differences. One, I was selected as lack of a better word, domestique, I guess.
Yeah.
So the success of the games wasn't based on my own personal result. And I knew that going in, and I was fine with that. That's why I was selected. So yeah, it was a very different feeling. And obviously, we didn't get the results. Like we had fair to say, a really poor
tough Olympics.
It was really tough. And so that compounded everything. Like I think even if we had really good results, like it would still maybe be a little bit of a dampener with the whole situation around COVID and how the Tokyo Olympics played out. But that obviously put a bit of a downer on it. And I mean, it still doesn't sit well with me now, really. Like, it's I was part of the Olympics where Australia probably had on paper their worst ever games, and it doesn't really sit well with me. Yeah, it is. And it certainly was tough at the time. And there's no one necessarily to blame. Like the athletes went out there and did the absolute best they could at the time. We know COVID played a role. Jake in 2019 was one of the best in the world. He was the only guy to win 2 WTS races that year. He was on the podium of the world champs, and then the games get postponed, and Australia in hindsight probably made the wrong call, but I'm not blaming them because no one knew what the right call was during COVID, but the recommendation was to come back to Australia in 2020, and we would put on races and try and get yourself up and get yourself ready to compete at an Olympic Games. But we were obviously locked in Australia, and we couldn't get out. And eventually in 2020, races went on. Not a lot, but there was like maybe 4 or 5. They didn't call them World Series because they couldn't, because there was some countries that couldn't get there, but they were World Cups basically at World Series level. And we Australians didn't get there. And so our last world level race was Lausanne 2019, September. And for most of us, our next world level race was the Olympic Games of
2 years,
pretty much 22 months,
pretty much.
And you can't expect to be racing at the level that those guys are, just racing each other. Like, I was.
There weren't really that many races though in Australia.
There was a lot in like the runaway, but they did a lot in the runaway basin.
You can't compare that. Like you're not
to
an Olympic Games, and obviously, New Zealand were fairly similar, and Hayden was the same, and he came out and obviously got a bronze medal at Tokyo. So there are exceptions, but out of the 6 Australians and however many 4 Kiwis, I think. So that's 10. So there was 9 that probably underperformed, I believe, and 1 in Hayden that did well.
What did you end up at Tokyo?
I think it was 26.
26.
Yeah. So Jake was our guy.
Yep.
So both Hauser and I were there to help Jake, to deliver Jake to the front. But even around that, How do you go into that? Are you still also thinking about your own individual performance? I know you have you've been selected to do a job, but do you still go in there and go, well, I still want to go for a podium or a medal? Well, I definitely knew that podium was not really...
Or better a ninth,
Yeah, well, we were there to help Jake, but don't forget, there's also... it was the first time, I think. Yeah, it was the first time the relay was in the Olympics. So it was and Tokyo was obviously extreme conditions, in like super hot. So it was like, help Jake and don't kill yourself for the relay. So
because they were still going to decide whether it was you and Hauser in the relay, or
no, we knew before, but also like you are a reserve, and especially in Tokyo, remember there was a lot of talk about water quality.
Yeah,
true.
If anything was to happen to potentially Hauser or Jake,
and
you
still
might have
COVID was going around.
And COVID, that's it. So there was like this real push to do your job that you're selected to do don't kill yourself in the process, even though you're not selected for the relay, and Hauser was, so even more so for him, like, don't do anything that's going to jeopardize your relay ability.
Wow, it's so tough to have that fine line of get the best out of yourself on the individual race day, but then don't ruin what is now, like that was the first Olympics where there was a relay, to not sacrifice that.
Did you tussle with that in your head a bit? Like, go, you know what, stuff it. I'm just going to go out there as hard as I can.
Yeah. Stuff Jake.
This might be were you going into that thinking maybe this is my last Olympics? Or?
I hadn't decided yet whether I would try for Paris, but I probably deep down knew that this was at least my last chance to actually give it a crack. Did it ever cross my mind? Not really, but I remember, so like we were selected, but it was kind of a little bit vague. And one thing I wish, like in our reviews, like the performance directors and the staff just came out and said, look, you're selected for this. This is your role. This is what you're going to do it. Yeah. But it was kind of like you're selected and we might want you to do X, Y, Z. It was like kind of a bit fluffy and no real proper direction. And so always, I remember saying in a meeting once, I was like, just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to put my hand up and I'm racing here for Jake.
Yeah.
Or a team role. But if that's what you're selecting me to do, then I'll do it. Just tell me. But
tell me black and white. Just make it.
Yeah, but it was a bit wishy-washy.
Especially as an athlete, like you're told by your coach, this is your session, this is what you do. I feel as if it's easier just to follow orders and do it as well as you can.
And in the end, they actually came up with like what they called a traffic light system. And so it was,
is this during the race?
No, like
set out before,
but only we're 2 days, less than 48 hours away from the Olympics, and they've only come up with like what we're actually going to do. And so it was like a staff member was going to be on the side of the road, and it was so you know how they have boards with time splits and all that. It was going to be like there was a circle, and it was either going to be a green circle, and I don't even know I'm going to get this exactly right, but a green circle was everyone just race how you're racing, where you're at. Yep. Don't do anything different.
Yep.
Orange was like, Aaron, you drop back to where Jake is and help Jake get up. Hauser, you stay where you are. And red was like, everyone, for me and Matt, you stop, well, not stop, but you slow down, get back to Jake, and both of you just pull him up. But, I mean, this is the Olympic Games. Like, everyone's on the absolute limit.
You're going for it.
I didn't notice. In the end, I was doing the right thing, as in what the board was saying.
What was the board saying?
I don't know. Well, at the board. But I don't know. In the moment, I didn't know because I didn't see it. But it was saying hold where you are. And then in the first lap. Second lap, I think it was Aaron dropped back. But I had, at U-turns, I had seen that Jake's group was not too far back. So I dropped back and... I mean, to be fair, I didn't actually have to do a great deal because...
was Blumenfeld in that pack as well? So you had the Norwegians.
Had the Norwegians. And so if they're working, why would I not...
Moving. Yeah.
But also, like, don't help them.
Yeah.
Like, try and make... Like, obviously, Jake's going to have to try and run against him. And obviously, we know how Blumenfeld end up going. But... don't try and help him. If anything, try and make his legs a bit more tired.
Yeah.
So
have Jake sit in that pack and then have Blumenfeld
be there if he needs it. But even like, so once the groups come together, we're all riding. The gas comes off a little bit because everyone's there, and it's a hot condition. So people are, taking on nutrition, taking on fluids and getting ready for the run. And we hadn't actually spoke about, like, as a team, from the performance directors, from the coaches, there was no talk about, okay, once the groups come together,
what are we doing?
What now?
Yeah.
Like, Aaron, are you going to are you going to try and keep Jake out of trouble? Yeah. And we hadn't talked about it. We hadn't practiced it. And, like, understandably, I went up next to Jake and I was like, I said, do you want me to sort of sit at the front? Do you want to follow my wheel? And, like, because we hadn't spoke about it, because we hadn't thought about it, he was like, no, I just want to do my own thing.
See, because you look at past Olympics, you even look at Paris, as soon as Alex Yee was in the front and Hayden obviously was the big competitor, you had Sam Dickinson go to the front and just drive that train and try to herd everyone. You look back into 2012 and who was the British? Stewie Hayes. As soon as the packs came together, Stewie Hayes was on the front and just murdered himself. Yeah. So it's like usually that is what the domestique role is there for.
Yeah, we know what this runner can ride at.
Yeah,
let's ride at that.
But when there's no communication about that, it's you don't really know what you're doing. So
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a shame that Jake didn't get out of that what he could have. I mean, I don't know if he had the preparation to be able to be on the podium. I think COVID years were pretty tough for him. I don't think that's really...
He also, I don't know if he even said anything publicly, but obviously I was training with him in Joel's squad at the time. I think it was hamstring. He had something in the weeks leading in where, and going into the Olympics, you can't afford to have runs missed. Like, and it was in a key period as well. It's like in that 4 weeks out where you're getting the most of the work.
The last little 1%. Well, you almost had like a shift in the top 5 sort of from that 2020 to 2021 year. It was almost like Vincent Louis, Mario Mola, Jake Burt were still, even still your Javier Gomez was still getting around.
Change of guard, wasn't it?
You literally went from those guys who were dominating the world stage to then Alex Hayden, Blumenfeld, and then bang, all within 1 year. Yeah. They hit the nail on the head.
So there was obviously people that profited from it and or benefited from the game's been delayed a year, and there was obviously people that didn't. And I mean, that's just the way it goes, I guess. And those guys are still the ones dominating now. So they were probably going to do it eventually anyway. But they got their, I guess, maybe luck in that it was delayed a year for them.
Yeah, I want to talk about and this is probably something like we spoke about this on a ride, a few weeks ago, and it was essentially the conversation that made me think, Lleyton, we need to get Aaron on. And as our podcast is pretty short course, like that's our little niche, we're still racing it ourselves, but almost the process, like we spoke about the race just then, but the behind closed doors that nobody really sees in the selection process coming into the Olympics. We've spoken about it. We spoke about it at the end of last year, how people are there's always somebody missing out that thinks they should have gone, or it's a brutal, and it makes and breaks relationships, friendships. You see people mentally just broken at the end of an Olympic year. How was that for you? Because again, we spoke about it just before. There was probably in Rio 4 of you that could have gone, that were fighting for 3 spots, and then probably again in Tokyo there was 4 of you that could have gone and had 3 spots. We'll focus more on, I guess, Tokyo, because that was the first one that we weren't part of, obviously, but we
knew more about, I guess.
We knew more about, and hearing how Australia only got 3 spots in the last week.
The weekend before in Port Douglas.
Well, no, even so.
A day later.
Match up at the same
sorry,
weekend,
you are right, but Watuko came, so there was
a day later.
Port Douglas was on, say, a Saturday or time zones, whatever it was. I just remember Port Douglas came first. And then Watuka was the last race of that qualification period. But taking it back a step, like it's like the qualification system changed from Rio to Tokyo in terms of how countries got 3 spots. So it
and that was because of the relay.
Because of the relay, yeah. So they effectively took away less countries getting 3 spots or making it harder. So before in Rio, it was top 8 nations got 3 spots regardless. Regardless if the 8th nation, their athletes were ranked 100 in the world, it wouldn't have happened because you wouldn't be
a top 8 nation.
Top 8 nations. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless, top 8 nations got 3 spots. But then they changed it to you needed 3 guys and girls inside the top 30 to get your 3 spots, which actually, and we actually spoke about it on this ride. Eventually, Australia were the only country, and I know we've said it before, it didn't go on and help us in the results at Tokyo. Actually, I think it hindered us, and that came off the back of, like, that was part of the review that we had. But and Australia was the only country to get 3 and 3, so 3 males, 3 females for Tokyo. And I think even in Paris there was, did any country, well, France would have picked France, maybe Germany, but there wasn't a lot.
No.
There wasn't a lot of countries that got 3 and 3.
The British women.
So there was a lot that got 3 in either, and even in,
but not in both.
In Tokyo, there was also a lot that got 3 in either, but Australia was the only one that got 3 and 3.
I find that so interesting that we dominated, obviously, in that way. We were one of the only countries, if the only country, to have 3 men, 3 women, but then it was our worst ever result.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows.
And that's like, at what cost?
Yeah.
And like, we spoke about it on the ride.
These Olympic quota spots in the years before, but then are we actually focusing on the Olympics?
Yeah. I mean, and also I think Australia is fairly lucky in that we get pretty easy points when we get to Oceania compared to the Europeans and there are big scoring points for the Olympic qualification. But so that I'd have to try and rack my brain a little bit. But going into the last weekend of the qualification, so it runs over 2 years, and you, like I said before, you get your best 12 scores.
Yep.
But you can only take and you got you can have a maximum of 7 from 1 year, if that makes sense. So you can have 7 and 5 from 1 year to the next, or 6 and 6 or 5 and 7. Anyway, the last World Series again was a race in Leeds, and then the following weekend was the last race in Watuko and Port Douglas. That was the closing weekend of the Olympic qualification. And I was sitting right on the cuffs, so was Luke Willian, and they were confident because Luke was staying and doing Port Douglas that he would get enough points. I think he had to win.
He had to win,
Yeah, and there was some stuff around that as well, but
we won't say because we might get us in trouble.
And I wasn't there, so I don't actually know how it all played out. But
I think I remember them running past me, lapping me.
But you gave it to him.
Yeah.
You let Willian because we needed to.
Yeah, because we need. I did my part for Australia. Really.
That's well done. Thanks very much. But anyway, so I was like, right, all in for Leeds. And so at the same time, I'm battling an Achilles injury. My Achilles started to flare up. This like mighty stress that was hanging over you to qualify 3 spots. And for your country, like you don't even know whether it's for you. Obviously, I knew that if we had 3, that your chances just by mathematics goes up rather than 2. And I thought I was a good chance of getting that 3rd spot if we got it. But again, you never knew for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I came into Leeds. I think I missed whatever position. I can't remember the position I came, but I think I missed the position that I needed to come by 1 or 2 to get enough points to get inside the top 30. And we're crunching the numbers, and then, like I was saying to you, Lockie, earlier off air, like you need to look at what other people have got, and are they going to Watuko? Are they doing Port Douglas? What's their 12th best score so where do they then need to come to knock out their 12th best score to better their points that they're on? So there's like this whole thing going on in the background.
So you're sitting in a room with your coach, Joel Filio, at the time.
Yeah, and
basically a big spreadsheet with the
got the
performance director. And
well, actually, because of it being COVID and everyone was locked in their own rooms, we were sat in a corridor of the hotel with a laptop out. The day after, not even the day, the night of the Leeds race, crunching the numbers. And then so we realized that I was going to be 7 points outside top 30. And I was like,
7 points is nothing. Like if you know the system, 7 points is nothing. It's not even a place.
Yeah. No, not even a place. No. And I was like, fuck, I guess I need to go to Watuko. Like I need to get on a plane.
Go to Mexico.
Meanwhile, like not far out from the Olympics, I'm really battling an Achilles injury. And I didn't even know if I got it 100% whether it was going to be my spot. But I'm like, I've just got to do it. And credit to them, TA were really supportive of it. I think they even flew me business.
Yeah, wow. They really wanted that.
Yeah, we need this.
And it wouldn't have been cheap flying to Watuko business and back. Actually, they did say I wasn't meant to say that, but anyway, it's 4 years. 4 years
outside of the station.
It was a whole cycle ago.
It's all gone. They're all gone. Money well spent anyway. Yeah. But anyway, but on top of this, a whole layer. So my friends at the time who I was training with, Martin Van Riel and Yellow Gaines, they were watching the race back.
Yeah.
And in that race, Richard Varga got disqualified for cutting the buoy, like accidental.
Yeah.
But he cut the buoy. And Kenji Nina, but the officials missed it. Kenji Nina followed him and also cut the buoy. And I think it was because, so they do it now all the time in all races, but at the time it was new where top 10's gold color cap, the next 10 are blue, the next 10 are red or whatever it is. But, in blocks of 10, they're different colored caps. And you couldn't see the first number. But I could tell it was Kenji because I know what his stroke looks like. He was Australian and I grew up racing him.
Yeah.
But I get as an official, they probably couldn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
And you could see that, for example, he would say he was 23. You could see that it was a blue cap something 3. But you couldn't see that it was 23. But because you could see that it was a blue cap, you could see that. So they sent me, this is Martin and Yella, sent me like, mate.
Dispute this.
Yeah, because Kenji was 2 places in front of me. So that means that I go from whatever it was, 15th to 14th, which gives me more than 7 points, which puts me inside the top 30.
Wow.
Don't have to go ahead here.
Don't have to go to Watuko. But there was also then there was some people in Watuko that could have then re-jumped me. So America were also going for the same 3 spots in Eli Hemming. And Crescento Grajales, a Mexican guy. Anyway, so that was step 1. Kenji disqualified.
Sorry, Kenji.
Yeah, sorry, Kenji. It's funny, actually, because I've seen Kenji loads of times since then. I kind of apologise, and I'm like, mate, you did cut the boy. And he's like, yeah, I'm just pissed off. 1, because I hate Triathlon Australia, and 2, because you cost me $1,000. I was like, you cost yourself $1,000, and, well, whatever you hate about Triathlon Australia, that's on you.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got Kenji disqualified. Or Kenji got himself disqualified. We just put it to the officials. Yeah. Bumped up. I went inside the top 30. But then it's not just, okay, we're set now.
Yeah,
because like I said, there's Watuko. Yeah, you've got to hold it. And Eli, like I said, Eli Hemming from America, I bumped him from, he was 30th, so I then jumped him. He went to 31st, and he was also meant to be in Watuko. And so I'm like, fuck, I've got to go. So anyway, got on a plane, got to Watuko, briefing came around. Kevin McDowell comes up to me and goes, just to let you know, Eli's not coming. He's got a stress fracture. And like they knew, but they knew before, and he didn't want to tell me because like there was all because obviously
they're almost trying to like play the political side, get you to go and like almost essentially waste your energy, having to fly all the way to another continent.
But also, there was Luke still needed to do his part. Like, so he was still outside. Port Douglas was still about to happen, and he was outside the top 30. So they
need to,
it might have actually been that Eli was still, so I might have been 29th, Eli was 30th, Luke was 31st.
Right.
I think that's what it was, but they didn't want to say anything because they knew they would have done the maths as well, and they knew that Luke had to win Oceanias to then jump Eli and get inside the top 30. But
so close.
Yeah. But they didn't want, any sort of like funny buggers being played in Australia to make sure that if it happened, it happened. But they didn't want to, like, in the end, what ended up happening, and we made sure that Luke got the win and got inside the top 30. But yeah, it was like all of this sort of stuff, and you don't actually know what's going on most of the time. Like, people are so oblivious to it. Yeah. And like, not just, so this is just for countries to get 3 spots. This is like
just to qualify.
Yeah,
not even for the games.
No, but so that's just trying to get 3 spots for the games. There's people like trying to get inside the top 55 from Ecuador, from
the
Romania, new flags. Like, there's, it's actually a funny place, that last race in the Olympic quota. You go to dinner, and I was with a Round Sagiv, a couple of other people that, what's the guy that races for Romania now, that Felix Deschamps?
Oh, yep.
He's fighting for it. There's like another couple of guys. They're all like, they're competing against each other, and like everyone's sitting at the table is like, oh, I need to come top 35 so long as you don't become 27th, and long as you don't come 23rd.
Everybody knows what everyone knows.
Manual equations.
And you get into the athlete lounge, and in the end, I was safe. My spot couldn't change because Eli wasn't there, so I was safe. It didn't matter what happened in Watuko, so I basically had a week's holiday in Watuko, paid for by Triathlon Australia. But I mean, I remember getting into the athlete lounge after the race, and like, everyone's got their results up on their phone.
Doing the
numbers. And literally, like, well, for both reasons, people for being in or not in, like, tears, people in absolute tears, like, devastated that they missed out on the last race, or elated because they realize that they're going to make the games. And I remember thinking, fuck, I never want to be in a position where it's coming down to the last. I much preferred Rio, where I qualified in 2015 by automatic selection, and
the stress is off.
Yeah, and so, like, on your point, Lleyton, where you said about like
at what cost?
At what cost? Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest thing that came out at the back of it. Like, I think I was definitely pretty cooked off the back of it, even before the games came around, mentally and physically, I guess, as well. It's such a big process to even just get into that position.
Yeah, we even spoke about like Luke Willian, for example, Paris last year. Like, yes, he was an automatic selection and it wasn't, all the way to the end of the period, but he did get it pretty
at the very end of the auto.
Yeah, he was the very last auto qualification. So it's almost, he had that really good race in Yokohama, and then he had a really good run in Devonport. I think it was Hong Kong World Cup. He got fourth, had an amazing run in that, and it was almost like this guy could really do something. Like, he could get a top 10. He was, I think, leading the World Series at one point.
He was leading for half the year.
Yeah, and then it got to Paris, and it was almost like
just did so much to even just get there.
It's almost like, were you just mentally fried, physically?
And you look at like people like Alex Hayden. Yeah, I mean, not even like loads of people that were in front of him. They knew they were going well before. So when they're in Yokohama, their eyes are already on 3 months' time in Paris.
Well, I mean, I think Alex came and raced Kitzbühel Conti Cup. He didn't need to be there.
No.
He's
a sprint
well
race,
above.
Wasn't it?
It was a super sprint. It was just to sharpen up his
for the relay.
Relay. And I think it was just to get some race skills in. Yeah, just a low key race. So it's funny the different positions that people are in, and obviously how that's going to affect and play out. So it's tricky because, like we said, there's probably 2 Olympic Games now where people were right on the cusp, and I'm sure Luke probably has his reasons for why he thinks he should have been in Tokyo. And I think even Jake Birtwistle, who back in 2016, he was on the rise, and there was sort of probably question marks on should he be in the team over other people. So it's tough. I mean, I don't know. Like there's always going to be people disappointed.
Yeah, that's it. As long as you like, I've been on both ends of selection. Like I got the nod in Tokyo, but I also missed out in a couple of Commonwealth Games as well, where I didn't get selected. And I was always of the belief on both Tokyo and the Commonwealth Games that it was, I would say, maybe I'm biased, but I felt like it was a bit more than 50-50 my side for Tokyo. But then also for the Commonwealth Games, I did also think it wasn't 50-50 on my side. But I was also, I was sitting there going, it could go either way. And, I was always a big believer on, I had the destiny in my hands in terms of I knew what automatic selection was. Yeah. And if I didn't meet it, then I'm leaving it in the hands of someone else. Yeah. And it was like close to 50-50 that I couldn't be upset with either way that they went. Yeah. And I've never ever, every time that I wasn't selected, and funnily it was between Luke and I in a few of those occasions, Commonwealth Games and Olympics.
2018,
the first person I messaged was both Luke and was to say, well done, because and it wasn't that I even disagreed with the selectors at the time. I actually, if I was in reality, like probably would have selected Luke. Yep. It's never like the athlete's fault. They don't select it. Yep. It's the selectors as well. So I never ever wanted to have any animosity between anyone when we're going for these spots. It's the destiny was in my hands. I didn't take it, and then I've left it in control of someone else. Yeah, to make the call.
Do you think there's anything, like, obviously because like we just spoke about, there's not, you take the physical out of it, the emotion and I guess the psychological impact that an Olympics or a Commonwealth Games selection can have on an athlete. Is there anything that you think a federation could potentially put in place to protect the athletes from, because they, like, you talk about post-Olympic depression, like the amount of people that I've spoken to, and for me that's fascinating. Like you go into the Olympics on such a high.
Story is, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, well, it's even if it's like, even if you have a good race in the Olympics, the 2-3 months after it, it's that real lull. Like, is there anything that a federation that you think could put in place to sort of protect the athletes from that?
I think I do think they're getting better at it. Like there's much more awareness around it now. What things, a lot of it is, I think on the athletes wanting to also reach out or look to what is available. Yeah. Like there is stuff available. Yeah. But often a lot of people don't want to put their head, like I didn't want to talk to anyone about it after Rio. I didn't want any help. Like I almost shut, like I actually, funnily enough, I actually lost a couple of sponsors after Rio because I felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I just didn't reach out to anyone. I didn't talk to them. I didn't like, hey, this is my Olympic experience. I almost felt like I let them down.
Yeah.
And like some, because sometimes sponsors don't fully understand the Olympic Games, and they maybe saw that I was third in a World Series race 6 weeks before, and with Alistair and Jonathan Brownlee on the podium, and then they see that those two are on the podium, and they're like, well, Aaron's in ninth. Like,
what happened there?
What happened there?
Yeah.
And so you almost feel a little bit embarrassed. So, like, I think it's also on the athlete to maybe own it a little bit, look for what's out there, because there is stuff for them out there if they're willing to look. And sometimes people aren't. That's nothing necessarily wrong with that either. Like, I dealt with it in my own time and
process it.
Yeah, it was.
I guess everyone's different.
Yeah, process it. Process it in the way that you want to.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from the Olympics, and we're going long. So the transition. You've gone to long course. Where you're just like, nah, I'm done with short course.
Yeah. When was that?
Yeah.
So I made the call at starting 2022. I was sort of on the fence a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I did one World Series race, which was Leeds, I think, just because it was a semi-home race. It was like what I actually got excited for. And I was meant to go and do another race like 2 weeks after, and I was like, it was 3 weeks after. I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like it's same. I think it was Yokohama or something. I'd been there so many times, just didn't excite me anymore. And funnily, there was a small challenge race in a small town in Wales, Fishguard.
Yeah, like, I know Fishguard. It's a bit of a shithole.
But there's like nothing there. Like literally, it's like nothing there.
And that's still going, that race.
It is still going. Yeah. That excited me. I was like, I want to go to Fishguard and do.
It's almost like when you know, you know.
Yeah. And so that was the end of the end of my short course career, and I had like some decent success. Early on in the middle distance races, and because it's something exciting and fresh, and also there wasn't the same level of competition there is now thanks to the PTO. A lot of athletes have switched across, and obviously makes it harder and harder now to do well. It's almost like World Series racing as well. But yeah, so I made that switch, and I really enjoyed it early on. There is some big differences. Like I'd spent my whole racing career, with a federation. You never at a race by yourself, whether it's with other athletes or support staff. To go into a race where my wife had a job at the time, I didn't really have like this team around me that a lot of long distance athletes have to create, like whether it's their own physios or coaches and people that they travel to races with. And I would literally go to a race and spend like 4 or 5, and I didn't know a lot of the athletes yet, 4 or 5 days on my own the whole time, breakfast, lunch, dinner, riding the course, training.
Sad,
and it,
super isolating.
Don't feel sorry for me, but but it was definitely a big change. And I'm actually not too bad in my own company. Like, non thinks it's weird. I could go to like a bar and take a book and have a beer by myself and read a book. And she laughs at me and is like, how the hell can you do that? Whereas I don't mind doing that. But that was something that I didn't expect. And whilst I enjoyed a lot of the new challenges and a lot of the new things that it presented, there was also some other challenges that I wasn't expecting, and
like a bit of isolation of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're in control. But also, what I like about it is you're in control.
Your own business.
Yeah,
I think that's what we've heard a lot. People are in control of their own race plans. Like, you don't need to answer to anyone. Really,
are you kind of liking that now more?
Yeah,
or would you go, what, it would be great if, I did have the physio here, the flights set for, or whatever.
Well, and I'm very lucky.
I've got my 7 races of the year. All the World Series.
With the T100 now,
it's more structured.
It is like that in terms of, you have to get your flights there, but once you're there, like they have physios, they have bike mechanics, they have the hotels paid for, meals are there. So it's like being back within a federation again. And so, like I really
the running circus.
I much enjoyed that. The only the downside to that is, I know when we went to short course races, like a lot of people were at the same hotels, but not everyone. Where everyone in the T100 is there. You're all at the same hotel.
You're seeing each other 24/7.
All the time. Like, mate, you want to go down to the 7-Eleven to grab a Powerade, and it takes you 45 minutes because there's 5 people sitting in the lobby that you know.
Yeah.
And you wanted to go down and back and be back in chilling out after 5 minutes, and you've spent more than 45. You're probably out for 2 hours just to go get a Powerade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is like being back on the short course scene, the T100 race.
Is it? I was going to say, what's the biggest difference between the T100 and the short course? Because it's a lot of the same athletes have just gone long.
In terms of the racing or just everything around it?
Oh, everything around it. I mean, the racing as well. Is it similar?
Yeah.
Besides longer?
Kind of. I almost joked at the start when I first started saying this that it's almost like doing an Olympic distance race and then just seeing how everyone can hold who can hold on the longest to that like Olympic distance intensity. But I'm not joking anymore. It actually is like that. And people are holding on almost the whole way through. So yeah, it's actually insane. I would say that like I was an okay rider. Some of these rides,
man,
I'm
the
getting
rides they're doing at the moment, we say that it's just it's insane.
But even in short course as well, I think people look at these short course races and see a group of 40 guys, 50 guys riding around and think, oh, that must be easy.
Yeah, they're putting the power down.
They're putting the power down. Yeah. So the level's rising, and I think it's really, really good in terms of maybe not for the whole landscape of triathlon and the actual event organizers and all these companies that are out that, people are spreading themselves thin a little bit. But for athletes, like, it's a good problem to have that you have
too many options.
Too many options.
Yeah.
Do I want to race for this race on the weekend for 150,000 prize purse, or this one over here for 200,000? Like,
yeah.
Oh, what am I going to choose? Yeah.
Where will I earn more? Where's the better field?
We spoke about it. It happened the first doubleheader on the weekend, and Lleyton and I last podcast we sort of said, all right, say because there could potentially be one on the Gold Coast next year.
Well,
hypothetically,
Wollongong
they'll be there.
So you've got the T100 and the World Series. What are you watching?
Yeah, which one? You can only go to one. Which one would you go
to? Short course.
You'd go
not always. Like it's going to depend on who's there.
Let's say in France on the weekend.
Yeah, the French lineup.
Yella's my good mate.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
I was about to say you can't.
But I was so I stayed. I don't know whether you guys stayed up, but the men's race was at 10. I stayed up and I was pretty tired because I wanted to watch Alex Hayden and Hauser.
Yeah.
So I'm almost going to say probably that short course. But it flips, like it changes. But if I had to choose one in Wollongong, it would definitely, obviously, as we know, Matty Hauser is going to be going for the world title, and I'd love nothing more than to witness that in person. So if I had to choose, it would definitely be the short course in Wollongong.
Well, that's 3 from 3.
Yeah,
we both said that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But would you ever say a T100 over?
You might. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't. But I also don't have that fascination for the long course like Lleyton does, and obviously you race it, so like yourself would.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love both. Like I'm a short course guy at heart, really.
Yeah.
Like that's what I grew up doing. Like I didn't grow up dreaming about Kona. I grew up dreaming about the Olympics. I love it now. Like, and if it was maybe not 10:45, because that means it wouldn't have finished until 2 a.m. But I would stay up to whatever I did midnight to watch the end of a T100 race if it was on.
It's definitely got that shorter dynamic to it.
Got more of an appeal.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll jump into some quick fire questions. Alrighty, we'll go one for one.
Okay, go on.
Alrighty, there's only 4 of these, so don't stress too much. What do you do outside of training to switch off? Obviously, we're training silly hours.
Yeah, we're training silly hours. What do I do? I don't mind going, like I said, in Leeds, I haven't really done it much here, but I would often go to especially in the summer, to a bar by myself.
Really?
Read a book. Yeah, but not like a bar as in like...
Not in a sad alcoholic way.
Yeah. Like the garden bars, kind of like...
In summertime when the weather's nice, you sat outside, like, and I'm not talking I drink a lot, maybe 2 or 3, read a book, be able to still drive home.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I do that. But
so you've obviously you've raced all over the world. Where's the best place to race, or best location you've gone in the world?
I've been pretty lucky. Bahamas is pretty good.
Oh, wow. I've been there.
What was that for? Is that just going there? Or
do you remember the Island House Triathlon?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There was a couples. Was that
no?
the couples
So
one?
that's different. So couples that Non and I
Yeah.
we won that
Yeah.
for $100,000 US. Ching.
Bring that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lucky we could get
We
married.
could hook up.
Yeah, that was no. So the Island House Triathlon was something that Luke McKenzie and Beth McKenzie.
That's right. I remember that.
That was pretty cool. I probably say, and mainly because it's you link it to good races, but Stockholm in Sweden was pretty cool, and I got third there.
Yeah, true.
Javier Gomez won, Johnny was second, I was third, so it was like a good field. Cool. Really, we were lucky. We had really nice weather. It's a really cool city. Maybe that. Yeah. So
Yeah, nice.
That's popping up in the top of my head.
mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but they sound nice.
Yeah.
Swim, bike, or run? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
Probably a little bit, maybe of a bit of a surprise, but the one that's my weakest is the run. It's probably what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
It's just the ease of just being able to throw on some shoes.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I do enjoy being back in Australia. So when people ask, what will you do when you retire? As in, what sports will you do to keep fit? Like running's always the top of it, just because it's so easy and I really enjoy it. I do enjoy riding, but there's too many fuckheads on the road in Australia that it kind of
kill you.
Yeah. So pretty much getting abuse every time you ride. So that dampens it a little bit. And being back in Australia in nice weather, swimming is quite cool. But
you don't get that in the UK, and they're all indoors.
And mate, swimming, if you're not in a squad, so when you retire, you're not really going to be in a squad. Swimming in public's an absolute shit show. So, but I love like going out and swimming Tally Creek, open water, that sort of stuff. But if I had to pick one, and I know this isn't rapid fire, sorry, but it's probably run.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What's one thing fans might not know about you that would surprise them?
I don't know. I don't know what do people not know about me. That's the thing. Yeah.
How do you get the nickname Bugsy?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It's actually not that.
You got the Bugsy. You got the
Bugs Bunny
on the side. My coach at the time, Jamie. Oh, sorry. My mum used to call me Buggerlugs. I don't know whether your mum's ever did that.
Bum Thief. Remember that book? That was a book.
Okay,
was
that
it?
might not be what he was talking
no,
about.
well, I don't know. Maybe that's what my mum got it from.
Yeah.
Did your mums ever call you Buggerlugs? I don't know, but mum used to call me Buggerlugs, and then obviously bugs are short. And back in the day when you guys probably don't even remember, people used to have house phones, and people would call house phones.
Yeah.
And that's how when I was so do I. Yeah. I still remember my first girlfriend's number.
No, I don't remember that. I didn't have that.
But anyway, Jamie, my coach, called my house phone. My mum answered. They were talking, and then my mum said, "I guess you want to speak to Buggerlugs." And then he went Buggerlugs, and then it just went from there.
Yeah, Buggerlugs Bum Thief.
Buggerlugs Bum Thief.
Book.
There you go. When did that come out?
1991.
Maybe I was born in 1990, so maybe that's where my mum got it from. You might be onto something.
Buggerlugs meaning.
It's a term of endearment, isn't it?
An old-fashioned, affectionate, and sometimes slightly coarse term.
Course. Yeah.
Often used as a nickname for someone in a friendly or informal way.
There you go.
Probably was.
Kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. That's pretty good.
Oh, you're chuffed with that one.
Yeah.
I can tell.
So there you go. Now you know.
Good on you, mate.
Where Buggerlugs come from. Buggerlugs Bum Thief. I don't know about that.
Nah, that's a book. I think maybe it's just the term Buggerlugs.
Yeah.
Australian.
I think so.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, thanks very much for coming on. It was awesome. We'll have to maybe do a all-in triathlon unfunded collab when
Yellow's back.
Yellow's back. God, that'd be cool.
I mean, looking around here, you guys have got it absolutely dialed. So
we do our best. We do our best.
We
Hopefully we can make the most of it. We're very lucky. It's not because we're really good at what we do. It's just because of who we know.
So that's normally a big part of it.
Yeah. Nah, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time, coming in, having a chat, and we wish you all the best with the rest of the season and rest of the years.
And we'll see you tomorrow at training.
Yeah, well, I'll see you this other.
Bring your A game.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me, boys. It's been good.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Alrighty. Now that Aaron is out of here, we just want to say a big thank you once again. I think we've just thanked him at the end of this, but big thank you once again to Aaron. Did you would have looked up to him back in the day? That was definitely one of the guys that when you were coming up into the sport.
100%. Like as I said in the interview, it was like when I wanted to go somewhere, it was Gold Coast or Wollongong.
Yeah,
and I think it was part of that. Yeah,
we knew why. It was cool. It's cool to have someone. Now we get to train with him, so it's kind of cool having that. Like, I remember when I was like a 15-year-old kid, he signed one of my like.
Did he?
Yeah, I have never told him that because it's a bit embarrassing. No, hopefully he doesn't listen to the rest of it. But yeah, I remember I had like an Aaron Royle and Ash Gentle signature on like my. It was like 2015 youth triathlon camp.
Oh,
shirt.
That's cool.
So, I was going to bring it in, but I was a bit embarrassed.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening, guys. That is a wrap for episode 23 of the Unfunded Podcast. As always, we'd love to hear from you guys in the audience. If you've got any thoughts, feelings, concerns, just shoot us a message. We are the Unfunded Pod on Instagram. You can also send us an email if you would like. It's the unfundedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Thanks, and thanks, Official Beer Co.
GC Lager, baby.